that. Sorry for my question here. No, no, that's okay, not a problem. But if I fast for 5 days, for an example, where does the body takes the amino acid to repair? I don't recommend people actually fast. If you fast for a long period of time, you will lose some muscle. It's a reality, you know. So you will turn over some cellular, you know. Um, so you basically, because remember, the body's actually breaking down tissue all the time. Because especially if you're exercising as well, movement or stuff like that, you'll be doing that. Oops. And yeah, so obviously, you shouldn't exercise while fasting. I don't exercise at all. If I'm fasting, no exercise whatsoever. You know. Now, in a time restricted fashion, I will exercise before in the morning, and then basically have a meal later on. Bar today, which I don't on the weekends. But on the other, at least 3 to 4 days a week, I'll do some exercise in the morning in a fasted state. But that's different. But you're not going to lose any tissue that way. And then you basically take a big bolus of food, and you build up. You repair and build up that muscle in that regard. So you actually. So that's how. But if you're doing a prolonged period of things, you don't want to be doing a lot of practically no exercise. When I do a long fast, I don't do any exercise whatsoever. Bit of walking, that's about it. Nothing else in that regard. So, but if you want to biohack sort of a fast, you could actually do like a 24-hour fast. And so once a day, you could basically just take a leucine supplement. And what you'll do is you'll temporarily spike, but you'll actually push a bit of muscle protein synthesis happening in that period. Go and check that video that I did, and you'll understand what I mean. So that's a sort of a biohack where people can do what I call I've dubbed it. It's probably not the right language to use, but I've dubbed it as dirty fasting. So dirty fasting, where you throw leucine in, like 6 grams of leucine into the system while you're fasting to force a whole lot of muscle protein synthesis. And you do that at right in the middle of the day. You don't do it at night. You don't do it in the morning. You do it right smack at about 11 o'clock. You do it at the point where cortisol is the lowest, and you whack it in there. So to force that additional muscle protein synthesis, that's what you do. So that's called dirty fasting, as I've dubbed it. It may not be the most appropriate word, but it actually can help with your fasting. I heard that if we are fasting, we have to do resistance training and not catabolize, because the body will make the muscles have function because of growth hormone. Depends how much fasting you're talking about, So resistance training is, I always, in a time restricted feeding, do resistance training. Like I'll lift weights, or I'll do like, high intensity something, or some resistance training and some weightlifting and stuff like that when I'm in a sort of a fasted state, sort of, time restricted eating state. If I'm doing too many days, I tend to not to. Like the first day of fasting, I'll probably do exercise, like resistance training, weightlifting and stuff like that. But the following days, pretty much just walk around, very mild stuff and all that in that regard. Look, you'll always, where you want to, right at the end of the fast is where you want that spike of growth hormones and all that sort of stuff to basically build stuff. Or as I said, you can do a dirty fast where you throw in, leucine. So that's another option. There's always different ways, but all fasting is going to have a bit of catabolism to it. Very, very small, especially in the first day. Then it's sort of there's a bit of a basically a protectiveness that actually takes place. But you still will lose a bit. It's not to say you won't is ridiculous. Most of the research has shown that, and even Volker and Finney have actually shown that in their research that you will lose some, muscle mass and stuff like that. So, and they've been doing this research for years as low carb doctors and researchers, and actually have had athletes where they've done them in this way, and they've taken biopsies every single hour. So, they know exactly what's happening to the muscle tissue. So, I mean, I'd rely more on them than some YouTuber who's done zero research. I always look at the research, the best research, and extrapolate any ideas from that, as always.